Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel guys. How you all doing? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're generally good. So today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful and very stylish Maxi Bubu with a pleated v-neck and a welt pocket. Now this is a very interesting tutorial and I'm sure you really want to go for this one. So let's just dive into it as I break it down to the easiest method. So here is my print. Of course, I have my fabric here, the African print, and also the plain satin fabric. That's what I'm going to use for the pleated v-neck effect and also for the welt pocket design. So I'm going to start with my main fabric first. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and make my fold. So now this is a full length gown. So for that, I'm going to be cutting this along the longer length. Okay, yeah, so the full measurement that I'm working with is actually 55. Yes, that's the full length for this person, and I'll just add like 2 inches for seam allowance, which makes it what 57. So this 57, I'm going to be measuring it twice of it along the longer length. And so here it is, I've done that. You can see it's folded into two, one represent for the front and the other for the back. So I'll go ahead and make another fold. Now this time around it's folded what into 4. So you can see this now, we have a fabric folded into 4 along this longer length here. So that's it guys. So we're going to start up now by taking a slope of 1.5 from that very end there. I'm marking that down. Then I'll come to the edge here and mark what 3 inches. All right, so this I'll connect it together to get my slope here. So the next thing I want to do now is to get my sleeve opening. So from that slope line, I will take a sleeve opening of 11 inches, right? So I'm going ahead to mark that down. So that point I marked, I'll just take it straight down, and that just represents what my chest line. So I'm going ahead to create that line there. So you can see this now. So here I'm going to use one measurement for all, which is the biggest measurement. And in this case is what is the hip. The hip circumference is what I'm going to use, which is 11. I'll mark that down. Then I'll go ahead and add 4 inches. I'm adding that much. This is a maxi one, so I'm adding 4 inches. You can choose to reduce yours if you want. So in total, what I have is 15. Like I said, is one measurement for all. So I'll just go ahead and measure this all the way to the end of the dress. So you can see we're not fixing in the waistline or separately, or putting in the bust measurements. We are just using one measurement for all, which is what the hip line plus what 4 inches extra. So you can see this, I've marked that down. I'll go ahead and connect my point all to a straight line. So after that, I'll just go ahead and add 1 inches for the seam allowance. 1 inches for the seam allowance. I'm taking it all the way also to the end of the dress. So you can see it's as easy as that, guys. Now at that chest line there, I'll just create an armhole effect. You can see creating my curve there, and that's it. We're done here, guys, with the side drafting. So moving to the neckline now, I'm going to be using a neck width of 3.5. Yes, neck width of 3.5, then a neck depth of 1.5. Now this one is for the back neckline. So I'm just creating my curve there, 3.5 width, depth of 1.5. This is for the back. Then for the front, I'll be doing 6.5. So this is going to be a V-neck here. So I'll just go ahead and match it up with the neck width there. So you can see it's that simple, guys. We're done here. You won't believe this. We're done here, guys. So what is left now is just to go ahead and cut this out. Just cut through the back first, the slope, run through the armhole straight down to the floor length of the dress, and that's it, guys. So going ahead to cut this out, you can see I'm taking this all the way, and of course I'm cutting out the back neckline first. So that I'm done with that. So I'll go ahead now and take off the front and one piece out. Yeah, I'll take off the back so that we can now cut out for the front neckline. So I'm going ahead to do that now. And that's it, guys. We're done cutting both. So opening this up so you can see the view. This is the front view. You can see the v-neck there, and also the back view as well. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to use a facing to turn this out. So I'm going to be cutting out a facing for each of the front and the back. So I'm using my plain fabric for that. So this one is for the front. So I'm just drafting it out. You can see, just to trace out what you already have there. Then I'll just do a width of about 3 inches for this facing. Okay. Yeah, so just make sure that it extends a little bit from the original length there. Okay, so you can see this now. So do the same thing for the back. Then I'll go ahead and use this now to turn it over to inside. You can see me placing the facing right side to right side. You go ahead and sew. After sewing, give it the necessary notch, then turn it inside and iron it down. So this is what I'm going to do. This one is for the back. I've already done that. All right, so you can see now we're done attaching the facing there. I've also weaved the edges. Very important to clean up the edges. You can see this for the back and this is for the front. You can see this. So to put it into in place, I just added a bit of hemming gum there, just to make sure that the facing is well relaxed. So you can see now our front piece is ready. Now the next thing now is to create our pleated effect. So this is what I'm going to use. You can see I ironed my interfacing there. And so what I have here is 15 inches by 20, 15 by 20. That's what I have here. I'm definitely going to be trimming out some excesses, but it's better to work with it this way in order to run into problem. All right, so we are here on the ironing table now. So the first thing I'll do now is to create my pleats. You can see me making the first fold inside. So this, and mind you, I'm making this fold along the longer length of the 20 inches. So I'm using my iron to hold this down. Then to put it in place, I'll also put my hemming gum there. You can see what I'm doing. So this is just the first fold, okay, so that to hide up that edges there. Then after this now, then I'll start making my original pleats, right? Okay, so now I'll go ahead and create my pleat. Just make a fold. So in between this fold, you're going to be fixing in the hemming gum, but I'll advise you do it first. When you're sure you've gotten what you want, then you start putting in the hemming gum. So you can see me making my fold. Just make about 3 to 4 or at most 5 pleats. It's okay. Yeah, you can see I'm making the second pleat again, but at the end of the day, the width of your pleat should not exceed 4 or even 4.5 at most. Okay, yeah, so just make your pleat. There's room for adjustment. If you feel that you need to adjust it, you just go ahead and do it. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm making now the third pleats here now. You can see, just taking my time to make this well relaxed. You can see, so making the third pleat now. So of course I can tell that I've gotten almost the width that I'm looking for. Just trying to trim out the excesses I have there. Then the last one has to be folded inside again, just the way we folded the first fold. You can see I'm hiding it inside again. Then I'll go ahead and iron it down. All right, so once you've achieved this, you can see we just have only 3 pleats here, and this is more like it. Then I'll go ahead and measure. Just measure it to be sure that it doesn't exceed 4 or 4.5, and see what I have there is 4 inches in width, which is okay. I'm going to work with it. Just make sure that it's 4 inches all the way. If you need to adjust, please feel free to do that. Then now that I've achieved that, then I can now start putting my hemming gum. So this will help the pleat to be in place, right? Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I can see me one step to the other and putting in the hemming gun in between, and just to make my pleat to be well relaxed. So you can see this now. All right, so once you're done with this, go ahead and give it a very, very good press, and trust me, you can have it in one piece. You can see now it's in place right now. So this is what I'm going to do for the other piece. Then after that, we'll go back to the cutting table. And here, guys, we're done. You can see my pleats are ready, and it's ready for us to create our V-neck effect now. So bringing back my front piece now, so I'm going to lay this, just lay it in a V-shaped form. We're going to be crossing it over each other, or more like overlapping. You can see what I'm doing. I'm placing it very, very close to that original v-neck we have there, and you make it to protrude out, okay? Yeah, so you can see now it's crossing each other. So just take your time to make sure that you arrange it. Once you have achieved what you want, go ahead and pin it down, just like you see me doing. So pin it down. So like I said, it's protruding out of the original v-neck there, at least by 0.5 or even 1 inches, okay? Yes, depending on what you want, but it shouldn't exceed 1 inches. So if you look at the back view, you can see now that it's protruding out, right? Yeah, so there is room for adjustment. You can still make your adjustment if you want. You can place it on your mannequin. If you feel that you need to make some adjustments, please go ahead and do that. So once I've achieved that now, I'll go ahead and cut off my excesses. Now watch what I'm doing. I'm cutting off the one that is under. I'll cut it, I'll shorten it, while the one that is on top will be more, because that's going to be the one I will overlap, right? Yeah, so you can see what I'm doing. So that one that is inside, I'll fold it in and top stitch, but necessarily there is no really need of even doing that, since the one on top is going to cover it, okay? So what I'll do is just to trim it out a little bit more, so that it will be well hidden inside. You see, I'm going ahead to trim it out since it's going to be hidden inside, so there's no point of folding it. Then the one on top can be extra. You can see I will now make my fold, so make it align with the other side, make it align, then go ahead and top stitch. Okay, you top stitch all the way to the other side, on the v-neck shape side, and the other side as well. So once you've achieved this, then you can go ahead and cut off what your excesses. Okay, like I said, take your time. If there's need to adjust it, then you do that. And here guys, you can see I'm done with that. I've made all the necessary adjustments, and I've also top stitch. You can see we have this in place now, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is to start creating what the welt pockets. So from the top shoulder there, I'm going to measure what 16 inches, okay? But I advise you can do 17 or 18, okay? Yeah, so for the pocket, but this is what I worked with, 16 inches. So I'm going to mark that down. Then from that tip there, you can see the tip of my V shape there. I'm just slanting my tape by 2 inches. I'm doing this because that's where I want my pockets to start from. Just watch closely what I'm doing. 2 inches from that point, right? So from that point I've marked 2 inches. Then I'll now measure the width of the pocket opening, which I want it to be what 6 inches. So you can see my tape is on a slant form, because that's what we have on the top neck there. The pocket shape is slanted, not straightened, right? So you can see me measuring 6 inches. So what I'm doing now is just to use my chalk to mark it out very, very well. It needs to be very visible, because we are going to be what making this chalk to appear on the other side. So in order to do that, I'll fold my fabric into two, like you see me do. Make sure it's folded into 2 equal parts. Take time to make sure that it's well aligned. Once you've achieved that, then you go ahead and use your hand to make the chalk to appear on the other side. Just see what I'm doing now. All right, so once you do this very well, if you open it up, you can see the marking. It might not be so clear, so you will now use your ruler and your chalk to make it clearer. So doing this will help you achieve the same shape and the same thing on both sides, okay? Yeah, so you can see this now. So you're just trying to confirm that you have everything in place. So now this is where my pocket opening is going to be. So I'm going ahead to just trace it out properly. All right, okay, so the next thing now is to start creating the main pocket itself. So I'm going to be using now this my plain fabric. You can see this is my plain satin fabric. So what I have here is 10 inches. I have 10 inches in width, then I have 20 inches in length. Okay, so if you want your pocket to be deeper, you can make it 22, right? But as we go along, you understand what I mean. So this is 10 by 20. Now listen closely again how we are going to achieve this. So I am placing this on the wrong side. I'm just taking it up, let's say above like 2 inches. You see what I'm doing? I want my chalk markings to show. Once I have achieved that, see it's not so clear, then I'll go ahead now and draw that marking very well. Remember, I did this on the wrong side, okay? So you can see I'm going ahead to trace it out properly. So the reason why we are still doing this is so that we'll make sure that we have it on the right shape. Remember, this is slanted, not straightened, okay? Yeah, so once I have achieved this now, you can see, then I'll go ahead and take 1/4. I'm just confirming that I still have my 6 inches as the length of the opening there. Then I'll take 1/4. 1/4 is 1/4, which means is 0.5 divided by 2 is 1/4. That's what I'm taking on both sides. You can see, look closely, that's what I'm doing. I'm marking 1/4 on both sides. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. So you can actually do 1/2, I mean 0.5 inches, but that will make the welt band to be a little bit wider. You can work with that, but this is what I want to work with. So you can see I'm marking it, matching up the lines together, 1/4 on both sides. You can see now. So that middle line is where we are going to sew, right? So you can see this now. So I'll go ahead and slant it at the edge by what? 0.5 inches. So where I am slanting now is where we are going to be notching when we are cutting through. Don't worry, when we're cutting through, you understand what I mean. Okay, that's just where we're going to what? Be cutting through. So once I have achieved this now, I'll bring backwards the other piece, okay, and trace it again. So I'm just trying to demonstrate with you, that is where we are going to cut through that middle line there. So bringing back the other plain piece now, I'm going to what? Face it on this one, just to make sure that this same line appear on the other side. This is just the best way, so that there's no point going ahead to start drawing the lines again. So you can see this. Once I have achieved that, it might not be so clear, then you can now go ahead and still use your ruler and chalk to make sure that you have it clearer, like you see me doing. So you can see we have achieved this now. So bringing back the main dress now, okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and place this. Remember now, this marking was done on the wrong side, but this has to be placed on the right side. Please take note of that. So what I'm doing now is to make sure that my center line there aligns with what I already have on my dress. It might be a little bit tricky, but please take your time. If you need to put a pin just to make sure that you have it aligned, please feel free, whichever method or strategy you want to use to achieve this. But just take your time, make sure that that center line is matching up with the one on the main dress, okay? And so once I've achieved that, I'm going ahead now to pin it down. You can see what I'm doing. So you can just take your time and confirm that. Then the same thing I'm doing for the other side. Whatever I'm doing for one side, I'm doing for the other side. I'm just doing everything simultaneously. So you can see, making ahead sure that everything is matched up. So once I have achieved that, then I'll go ahead and sew. We're going to sew on that rectangular line, okay? You're going to sew on that rectangular line, right? That's what I'm going to do. Once we're done, we are now going to cut through the center line. It's as easy as that, guys. Don't get confused. So you can see, you might not really see it so clearly, but I've gone ahead to sew. Then I'm now trying to cut through. I'm just using my seam ripper to puncture, just to give it a hole so that my scissors can freely pass through. So you can see now, then I'll carefully cut through that center line. See what I'm doing? Once you're getting to the edge, like 0.5 inches away, then you slant it on both sides. So this is what we're doing. That's what I was trying to explain that time. We are just giving it a notch very, very close to the seam line. I hope you can see this. All right, so just continue the other side, cut through that center line. Once you get towards the end, like 0.5 inches away, go ahead and slant it, right? So the slanting is giving it a notch on both sides, okay? Okay, so this will help it when you're turning it over, it will be well relaxed. So once you're done, you flip everything to the other side. Okay, you can see this. So this same thing I'm going to do for the other side as well. Okay, just go ahead and cut through and slant the way we did for the other one. And so guys, I've done that. You can see me flipping everything inside now. Okay, so go ahead and turn it over to the wrong side. Now, turn it over to the wrong side, take your time and bring out everything properly. You can see. So in order to put this in place now, what are we going to do? We'll go ahead and iron. You're going to be ironing this down now to make sure that you have everything. Make sure that all the edges are not showing. You can see I've done with the ironing. Now, when you show it to the right side, you can see the opening clearly now, right? So that 6 inches hole is there. You can see everything is in place, even in the slant form, right? Take it back again the way it was. Now look at the next step now. Pick the way you see me doing and place it in such a way that you have it close to that line. Now you need to take note of this one. It is not going to overlap. No, do not make it overlap. Just make it to be very, very close. I've done it on the other side. Once you've achieved that, go ahead and iron it down. The moment you iron it down and you've achieved it, then pin it to put it in place, just like you see me doing right now. Remember I said it must not overlap. Turn it to the right side and you see the effect. So you can see now that we have created that band effect. You can see. So the reason why it must not overlap, so that you can be sure that you have an opening, right? And this is how it's meant to be. So once you've achieved that, go ahead and top stitch all the way around the rectangle. Okay, and that's it, guys. I'll finish this up. And here, guys, I'm done. You can see I've done this on both sides. You can see, you might not really see the top stitching mark there, because I used the same color with the fabric, the same thread color. So if you look at the wrong side, I mean, you can see that sewing now. All right, so make sure that it doesn't overlap. If not, you will not have an opening. So the next thing now is to cover up the main pocket. You see what I'm doing? I'm going to now sew on the edges and on both sides. Now, when you're sewing on the side, make sure that you are sewing very close to that line, the end. That's where that 6 inches line stops, you see, which means we're going to be having a lot of excesses to trim out, right? Yeah, so just make sure that you sew on that line. That's just what you have to do here. And you can see this, guys, whatever you do here, you do for the other side. So I said initially that if you wanted this to be much deeper, then you will use like 22 inches or a little bit more. But you know I use 20 inches. So this is the depth of the pocket and this is what I want. Just go ahead and sew by the side, very close to that edge line and also on top. And guys, this is ready. So you can see I've done that. I've also gone ahead to weave the edges. Very, very important. You can see how it looks now. Now, when you flip it to the right side, guys, our pocket is ready. The Welt Pocket is ready. So you can see me putting my scissors inside. So this is how deep it is, right? So if you want it deeper, like I said, you could have made it above that 20 inches that I used. So you can see this now, and this is very, very okay. All right, so that's it, guys. We're done here. Like, our pocket is ready, our pleated v-neck is ready. The next thing now is to join the side. So bringing back my back piece, placing it right side to right side. Now I'll go ahead and sew the shoulders. Okay, so after sewing the shoulders, then I'll hem the sleeve edges there. Just hem it round. Then after that, sew the sides, take it from the sleeve through the armhole straight down. Then of course the final thing is to hem the lowest of this dress. And guys, this outfit is ready. Our Maxi Bubu pleated v-neck with a Welt pocket is ready, guys. I mean, you can see this is actually straightforward. It might be a little bit, time consuming because of the pleated neckline and the Welt pocket, but trust me, guys, just go over this again and you will really find it easy. Okay, thank you, guys. We've come to the end. Please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do that. I really appreciate that a lot. Like, share with friends. I really appreciate this a whole lot. Thank you so much, guys, for always coming back. Thank you, my subscribers. And if you're new here, I say thank you so much. Thank you, a million thank you to you guys. Till I see you on the next one. Have a wonderful day and bye for now.